Welcome back to Athena's Garden. It's Liz speaking here. Recently, I returned from a brief trip to South Korea and was getting ready to sell our property in the United States, as well as planning for our new home in Sapporo that we're building, plus my day job. So I'm excited to be back. I'm sure you are tired of seeing my floating talking head, which you will see again later in this video, but I want to do the introduction with this stock video of gorgeous Arashiyama in Kyoto. I hope when we visit there in Thanksgiving time, we can still catch some of the fall foliage, but most likely not. But if you can catch it, I highly recommend the magical Arashiyama. It is full of pure dragon energy, and also a little teaser for a future video. Because of the nature of an Akashic Records reading, I wanted to showcase what may go on when you receive a soul origins reading from me without having to ask previous clients whether it's okay to reveal their personal soul details. So, I had an idea to find a collaborator and volunteer who would be open to it, and Allison raised her hand. Allison is open to sharing as she believes our pain points and growth may be helpful for others to hear. So we went through the process as if she were my client, and I read her records with her intentions in mind. And what you see here is the session where I'm reporting my findings. I did do the reading without going to Allison's website, but after I finished doing the reading, I did go to her website to check out what her business was about before we had this joint session together. It is a longer video, and I made sure to put timestamps in the description if you might want to skip to the topics and parts that interest you the most. But I really hope that this video gives you an idea of what a session is like with me, and maybe you might be interested in getting a reading. I'd like to thank Allison for being so open and receiving messages from her Akashic Records Guides, even though this was a modality she previously hasn't come across. So without further ado, please enjoy our session together. Awesome. Yeah, awesome. So let's get started. I'm very excited and honored to read your Akashic Records, and I'm already logged into your file already. I opened your records up right before our session. So yeah, we're here. Yes. So just to to start, as I kind of chat through what I discovered in your records, you can also let me know, hey, this resonates with me, and maybe if you have a question or something that pops up, feel free. And there's a lot of information sharing, so at any time, just we'll kind of like go with the flow with this. Okay, beautiful. So I have your main intention is that you would like to know what you might need to know in order to grow your business serving women and step into your most fulfilled state.
Correct.
Yeah. So I started with that, and when I log in, I check if I have permission to read your records, and I was granted permission. And that so the first thing I look at is what your soul blueprint is and where it's from. Have you ever been curious about that?
I don't even know what that is. What can you explain it to me?
Absolutely. So right now we're here on Earth on Mother Gaia. So not all of us are from Gaia originally. Maybe about half are from other starseeds and planetary systems, which kind of affects how we process information, I feel. So yeah, I'll just jump into it. So I got that your first incarnation was actually an Arcturus, that you're Arcturian. And have you ever heard about that before?
No.
Okay, I'll tell you a little bit more about Arcturians and Arcturus. It's one of the more advanced star soul galaxy, along with another star group called Andromedans. And the Arcturians, they're very high vibrational, high dimensional, and they tend to be less dualistic. Kind of like here, we kind of operate in a dualism in here on Earth, but there it's a little different. Everything is more harmonized. It's more neutral. As well in gender, as well as in like vibration. There's very harmonic, and there tend to be very like ascended masters, and they use a lot of light codes and sacred geometry, and they tend to play the roles of like council fathers and elders, and help other civilizations across the galaxy. They tend to be more calm and peaceful in energy, and they like to treat everyone as equals, as mentioned, is that non-binary, non-dualistic vibration. So that was your first incarnation as an angelic Arcturian in the 6th dimension. So that's your first imprint. And then the other one that came up was Sirian. Sirius, the star system. Have you heard of that one? It's the star. Yes, the star, and that energy and civilization. They're also very egalitarian. So Sirians, they're in this 5D and up energy field, and they tend to be very cooperative. Very balanced, again, with the feminine and masculine energy, tend to be more androgynous. They're very into infrastructure. So like systems, organization, bringing that expertise in how to improve society, technology, infrastructure in a harmonic way. They like research, communication, and about it's like, think about like the worker bees in that perfectly synchronized society. So Syrian society, they do have jobs, but it's like if there's a job need, they would go in and fill that role and then come out and then do something else. So it's very like in tune society, very balanced, and yeah. So that would be the two main ones that I got in your record. And they have like different soul blueprints that are higher dimensional. So I got that you were once like a dog or wolf incarnation in Sirius.
Oh.
And that also, your lifetimes in Sirius was, I put a little star, as in it's a kind of more relevant to what you're doing now for some reason, that lifetime. Yeah, how do you feel about it so far?
I think it's so interesting because I definitely am one who is always looking to improve and to give opportunities where someone might not have had one. And one of the things I say nearly daily is there's always a way. It doesn't matter where we start. There's always a way. I can always see multiple paths for progression and momentum and shortcuts for anyone I work with. Anyone who wants to get their book published, whether they have 100 million people following them on TikTok or nobody, there's always a way.
Yes.
And I think that that's always been my way. I mean,
yeah, I got a little bit of a goosebumps as you were saying it, because one of the things that I learned when I was learning to read the records, that there's a motto for Sirians, and it's there is a better way.
Really? Oh my God, I got full body chills. Oh. Yeah.
You're feeling it. I'm glad that resonates.
Sometimes I get full body chills when I really on like the speediest roller coaster path, like let's zoom forward, and where things just click with a client where they go like, yeah, that's what I meant to say. Like, great. Now we know. Now we're there.
Arcturians can be that way too. They're like analytical by nature, and they tend to be a little, not like, didactic in a negative way, but like professors. They're like, ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
let's figure this out.
Yeah, let's always figure it out. There's always a way. And it's really, really rewarding to help someone see that
Yes.
that there's another complete possibility where they didn't even know. They're like, I feel this burning, but I don't know where to put it. Like, oh, did you know that there's this room over here? Because there is. And I go, I had no idea. Like, well, how could you? Nobody, unless someone tells you,
Yeah.
you don't know anything.
Yeah.
So
like,
that's, yeah, nobody has to feel bad about not knowing. I mean, heavens.
Beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Oh, and there's one more lifetime that I wanted to share that I got, and it's a star called Aldebaran. And I actually Aldebaran, I think that's how you say it. So I don't have like too much information about this system because it's a rarer it doesn't come up often. But what I got for you, that you in this planet, you were a mineral, like a first dimensional, and it's like this unity consciousness, like you're like a crystal, a part of the structure, if that makes sense.
Cool.
Yeah. And so you've existed from the first dimension all the way up to the seventh dimension at different times, or maybe currently, if you believe in the multi-dimensional,
Right.
time space,
Yeah.
Yes. So that's your origin, soul origin. And the next thing I look at is your soul superpowers, which you actually kind of touched on a little bit. So some people have like up to 3 that are like the 3 strongest ones. We have all 7, and also aligns with our chakra as well, if you like to think about that instead. But your highest one is divine harmony, and your superpower is divine order. So I can already tell from your room, it's very beautifully decorated. It's like part of like aesthetics, so bring harmony, law and order, balance, beauty is part of your divine gift. And when you're aligned, you can understand everybody's viewpoint and then bring it together into like a middle ground. That is your superpower. Bring the best out of everyone, that you kind of touched on already. And there's also like a little caution for this. Every trait has a cautionary side to it. It's to be careful not to be too rigid and to find the fluidity without standing still. And sometimes if things feel a little too chaotic, you might want to put more control. And so the general advice is to maybe start a new plan if that happens. Start something new. And perfectionism, but not stagnation, not over rigidity, is the general advice for this trait. And then the second one you have is divine unity, which you also touched on. Like everybody can do better, right? There's a better way. There's another option for you. And it's divine compassion and unconditional love. And so your gift is to bring unity and compassion to everything you touch and everyone you work with and come upon. So you have that high compassion, you have a lot of patience and tolerance for and inclusivity, not leaving anyone behind. And then let me see. Yeah, people love being around you, animals, plants, nature. You just bring that positive energy just by being next to them. And you have that like almost like a healing power when people are around you. Do you get that sometimes when they're like, oh, Allison, I just love your energy?
You're so positive. I feel so much better. I feel so much better just talking to you. And I think, really? I understand what I said. I see you in a flurry and I think, let's take a beat.
Yeah.
Let's like, you don't have access to the information I have. So like, listen to my voice and let's take set off the table. And like, here's clarity. So I don't know that it's funny the things that people say about you or to you that they value, and you go, I didn't see that one coming. Like, that's not something that I necessarily think about myself, because my internal dialogue is like, how do we get this person out of the rafters? And also the story they're telling themselves is, because it's like, it doesn't help, but it's also just the wrong move. Like, they took a right when they needed to go left. I don't even know what story that is, but like, we're going to shut that door because it's not even real. So in my head, I think like, I got to shut this down, but I must do it in a way that they like, because I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm much more straightforward than I am like, let's go into our feelings.
That's very Arcturian. Yeah.
Like,
they're like,
no more chit chat. Like,
focus.
Yeah. People, and I think appreciate that. Like, oh, I wasn't supposed to feel that way at all. Well, yes, no, we're not going to spend any time talking about that, like, sidecar that you just got in.
Yes.
We're not even like, we'll just lock it up. That's not even a thing.
Yes. And also part of the unity, divine compassion, and unconditional love, you also accept people as they are. Like, you just unconditional, yes. And then you want to like lift them up as well. That's like part of this trait, it sounds like. Also, this the warning parts for this divine gift is to be careful of be careful with your boundaries sometimes, because people keep wanting yes, and they it might drain you a little bit and cause burnout. It might sometimes be challenging to leave a relationship that's maybe a little difficult or become toxic, because you want to give everyone a chance. And then be careful of sacrificing, like you don't have to become a martyr or burn out for them, because you keep the energy, you want to keep the energy as well. And the other thing about having the unity is that if you're too isolated, sometimes that could be hard, because the whole thing about being connected into, it's like a balance between being overcommitted with your network and being too isolated.
Yeah. And I think that's where, like, last year I was like, I don't have any time to do anything proactive because I'm reacting to all these requests, and I have a free Facebook community and I feel like I need to serve them, and doing like free workshops, because I don't think information should cost anything. I think something should be Googleable, but it's not. So you can use me as your literary guru. Like, if your Google, just like you can ask me and I'll tell you. But boy, then I was like, I have to have like a systematic business too, so that I can set aside, like, this is what I do as a like a service to humanity.
Yes.
This is how it needs to work, and writing that is something. Yes, it can be challenging, but it sounds like it resonates a little bit so the next thing I look at is also your psychic gifts at soul level. So it's like your intuition, and how you process the information, and I got that you are
predominantly claircognizance, so 34%. Have you heard of that before? Claircognizance. It's okay, so have you heard of clairvoyance before? Like when people are psychic, they can see images, video, but claircognizance comes a little different. It's like clear knowing. So you just get the information from your brain. It's like, the seventh chakra, and you just intuitively know the information. Sometimes it can be confusing, or I was confused my whole life because I'm claircognizant, that it comes out as your own thoughts. Like sometimes your guides are telling you things and you're like, oh, okay, like it sounds like it's just my own thinking, but that's your way of your intuition working, getting that information.
That happens to me where
sudden knowing.
Oh yeah, where I'm like, I need to hear you speak, and then it'll come to me. And then I just, the solution will, or sometimes the choices. I'm going to present 3 choices to you. Either one is a good choice. All of these will work. Oh, full body chills again. So, and I thought it was like my creativity. Like I'm always looking for a solution.
Together.
How are we going to move forward? Because I don't want anyone, I don't want anyone to be stuck. Like getting stuck, is like feels gunky. But yeah, claircognizant. I do have a lot of friends who are clairvoyant. Or who are, and like empowered healers or enlightened, like spiritualists. And I always think like, how does that work? But I guess
it's different. Yeah, you do know how it works, but yours works a little differently. And you also have a higher percentage of clairsentience. So that's like clair empathy. You can get it through the feeling and like both emotionally and physically, receive messages. So that's part of it. You can feel, I like to describe it as like when you walk into a room and you can feel the energy of the room.
Yeah.
Or it's like good and bad, right? You kind of like
I'll be outside because it feels
it's like
really
suffocating,
angry, or like suffocating.
Yes.
Like, I feel like someone's stepping on my chest.
Yes, exactly. That is clairsentience. Sometimes you get a physical sensation. So those are your strongest psychic gifts. It might be good to know for, just to, you already know, but and then also I also like looked for special psychic abilities that sometimes people have, sometimes people don't have. The ones that I got are scrying, remote viewing, and second sight. So have you heard of those?
I feel like I know scrying from watching Charmed. So
yes, it's to detect, it's to look for information. It doesn't have to be location or anything if something's missing, but also scrying for information. Like if you're, think of, let's say, I guess in your field, if you're listening to someone, you can scry, like, and gather the information you need as well. Or like if you're reading something, I feel like it's just the ability to use a tool, which could be you. It doesn't have to be like a pendulum or a wand or anything, but you could use that if you want, and then find the information you need. So like in Charmed, right, they had a map. They're like, where is this located? The similar thing, like a special research skill that you have. Now that I'm thinking of,
I call it digital detective work. And I'm able to do it so fast and build business plans for people's book concepts that they've spent months. Like, how did you do that? Like, well, it only takes 20 minutes, and you have to let yourself like fall into the information, and it will guide you. But I mean, That's just for me.
That's yeah, perhaps because that is your special psychic superpower.
So
Which is cool.
what were the other ones?
Okay, remote viewing and second sight. So remote viewing, let me just read, like I have the definition. It's like related to, let me see, where did I have it here? I should have highlighted it. Sorry about that. Let me look for it so that second sight, where is it? Okay, here. Okay, I found it. So it's like remote sensing. You can sense something that is unseen. So it's not in front of you. You can kind of sense something using your, ESP per se. So that's remotely. So it's not in front of you, like using our vision, right? And then it usually comes together with second sight, which is the ability to see future and past events and perceive information that's not present in our physical senses. So it's a form of like vision, but it just comes to you. So it's not your vision.
All of that, like a second sight.
Yeah. Okay, so some people who might have this is that are, outside of dream is kind of like maybe like almost deja vu as an example. Like you see something and you just receive information from looking at that object that you wouldn't have known, like, it's like, how would I know that, right? It's just like, yeah. So it's like it could, maybe to think of it in the claircognizant way, it's like you're downloading information at that moment that's unrelated to that object. So it's like another way of receiving information. It's all together.
That also be like an example of that would also be meeting someone new and automatically knowing something about them that you couldn't possibly.
Yeah, I think it's all tied together with the claircognizant as well, and it's coming to you that way. Like something is, you're pulling something, remotely that's not in front of you, and it's coming to you that way. You just suddenly know.
Yeah.
Now to think of it, since I did this prior, I wouldn't have known. Oh, that sounds very applicable to what you do. Yeah. And then soul mastery. This is things, skills that you've mastered throughout your lifetimes, which also one is neutrality master, and it kind of goes with what we've shared, what we talked about or read so far about the Arcturians and the Sirians. They're very neutral. So if someone comes to you with a conflict or an issue, you're able to stay very neutral and centered. You've mastered that.
Yeah, people do
balanced.
They are not.
But they need it.
No, that's
They want.
See that I always ask questions that like.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think they were thinking? How does that work? And who does not like that? Children. They do not like my children. Why can't you just take my side? Like, well, I need to understand the context.
Yes.
Have you explain to me the context and what the tone was? And then they're just like, but yeah.
It comes in handy, but yeah, I can see what you're saying about the children emotionally. But you're like, that's my way of supporting you, because that way we can learn from the conflict. That is a different way to look at it. And also, you're a dream master, and how I interpret that is like it's like a visionary thing. You can see how things can come together, and you can like weave it into existence. That's how I interpret that mastery. I don't think it's like mastering your dreams, like just simply like having dreams and, like when you're sleeping, and goals, right? Like it's like together, but more like, like creating into reality. Visions, I actually wrote down visions into reality is what I think this mastery means.
Well, I'm getting like a thing on just one side of my body, which is super weird.
Oh,
Um, I like just on the right side,
oh,
which sometimes happens, but
oh.
there is most of the people who I serve, they're all women or queer spectrum, they're not straight
Mm-hmm.
women, and
Mm.
and they never really come to me saying like I have a book and I know it needs to be published. They're all like, I think this, like, do you think that this is a thing? Could this be a book?
Mm-hmm.
And since I only work I only work one-on-one with people writing nonfiction, whether it's like business or memoir or
Mm.
a historical look at women's sports in the 1950s. That's a real
Oh.
example. And that they never really have a, a clear view of what their path looks like. They just feel like this has to, like, this idea keeps on bothering me. I know it's something, and then somehow I got introduced to you, and I don't even know how it happened. Like, well, that happens a lot. And then, and then or somebody mentioned you, and I don't, and I like, it's so crazy. I'm like, well, I hear that a lot, and and then and then suddenly I can see like how that's going to work, and I also just assume it's going to work. Like
Mm-hmm.
I,
There's a way to make it work.
there's always a way,
Mm.
and really, it's up to them on like how to take action.
Yeah,
But I'll
yeah.
say like, here are some of the actions you could take, and these are your choices. And but they do. Everyone who works with me gets interest from agents and publishers in their first round of pitching their book every single
Amazing.
time. And
Yeah.
it's usually on the first day that that's not, usually it takes months to get a response
Yeah.
from anyone.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I think that I thought it was because of my business acumen, because
Mm-hmm.
a book is indeed a product that has to be
Yes.
sold. But
Yes, yes.
also it's because of empathy, because I can understand what that decision maker
Mm-hmm.
needs to see and hear and feel in order to say, yes, I can represent this. So I guess all that comes together with everything.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm so glad it resonates with you. um, yeah, and then the other things I look at is your soul facet integrity. Sometimes through different incarnations and conflicts, you might leave some out there that you might have to retrieve and collect. You are complete. There's none that you lost over the time. So
Oh,
that's
like
great.
integrity, like, oh, you
Yeah,
lost
yeah, no, well, that too. Like the other one is like, your connection to the divine or the creator, however you like to, are, you know, link. You can damage that thread by making, decisions that are not integrity or not to people's intentions. You also don't have any damage, so you also don't need to do any queries. Isn't that great?
that is great.
Yeah. And then spheres of protection. It's kind of like we're born with, this beautiful sphere of protection, yeah, maybe like a shield, from, bad energies,
Yeah.
that might come our way. And sometimes we get attacked. We don't invite that, but it happens. It's 4.5 at birth, and it's 4.5 now. So you're still intact. So
Cool.
beautiful, right?
I don't think, I'm
um,
sure that wasn't, was that always the way, or did you detect like there was an imbalance and now it came
oh,
back to
I
balance?
just kind of ask the records for it. Like, what was it at birth? Give me the number, and what is it now? And then if there is some difference, like, then you can do like a clearing, and that will restore it gradually.
Mhm.
You can restore that. So it's just good to know if if there is such a need, but there isn't. So that is great to know. And have you also heard of Dr. David Hawking's map of consciousness? It's like a measuring of a energy, frequency, vibrational level based on your emotions. Yeah, so I can, I'll write it down for you, or I'll try to make a note that I can send you information about it if you're Hawkins, Hawkins.
Okay.
Yes. So it's like the lowest like vibrational feeling is like shame. That's and then the highest one is like enlightenment, reaching enlightenment. And so most of us are in between, right? And then also it fluctuates. If we're not feeling great, we're feeling sad, grief, it can then drop down, but then we're feeling love, it goes back up to the top. And so the number I got for you is 300, very high vibrational. It's like the level of inspiring, like optimism, hopeful, willingness, intention. Yes.
That sounds good, that's for sure.
Yes. And then also comfort zone status from 1 to 10, you're at a 7, and freedom metric is 76%. It's like that a high number, which you have, is your ability, if you want to create change, you have that room. If people are at a lower, that means they want to stay in their comfort zone. It's like you're relatively comfortable, but you're open to making changes if you are looking for it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also asked if you're a singular or multi-manifestor, which means if you should only focus on one thing or maybe a few things at once. And what I got was you're a multi-manifestor, and you can do 3 things at once, and that might be helpful to everything. Are you more like that, like a multitasker, or do you focus on, you have like 3 things you want to work on to manifest at once?
Well, I feel like everything is braided, and and that makes everything stronger, and also that weaving feels balanced somehow. So yes, but I think more than 3 is too much.
Yes, there's a number from like 1 to 10, and I got 3. So some people just can focus on one, like should, that would focus, and then but yeah, for you 3. And I guess I want to ask, if you have thought about this question ever, like why you think you chose to incarnate in this lifetime, like any reason or goals that you may have set prior, that at soul level. Because I wrote something down, which I will share what I got in the records, and maybe you already know.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't know, except that I was very attached to my mother, and I definitely was a parentified child and protected her emotionally quite a bit. Although, and I feel like at some point in some life, she had to have been my child, or I had to have been her protector somehow, because we're so connected. But maybe not.
No, this is what I wrote down here, what I got in your records. A few of the reasons you chose for this lifetime is that you're here for an adventure as well, kind of like a safari, like adventurous new experiences. And the second thing I wrote down was to support other souls, and maybe that is what you mentioned with your mother, to support other souls, and also all your clients with their
right. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that was
that has the professional pivot I made just before COVID, where I left my big time cushy career leading global PR for big brands. I just I felt like I had reached the top, and I was like, gosh, this does not seem like something I want to like
continue.
It's not as it's super creative and interesting, but then there's nothing that fulfilling or like to be proud of, like how well you marketed a deodorant. It's just not, I don't care who you are. It's just deodorant. And now helping people market their ideas and bring their ideas into the world and fuel them so that they can be seen is so much more important. And these books are books that never would have found a publisher without this kind of support. And not just I don't think like support, but I think like without this tour guide of like, let me open doors and move things out of the way. And so I think support is maybe the wrong word.
Well, assist, like assist, because
like, it's like a Sherpa. Like
yes.
You know, it's not a chaperone. I'm not in charge of you, but I am showing you the way. And but I'm here for you, is how I feel.
Yes. I got, support other souls, assist humanity, in their endeavors. But I also got test out theory and inventions. It doesn't have to be like like you're inventing a new product or anything, but I also wrote down game puzzle. Like there's some pieces that you're working on. You're also here to test out something.
I often talk about puzzles.
Oh,
a lot. About
game puzzle.
Is a metaphor I use often in helping people figure out how to put together the tightest picture or the jigsaw puzzle pieces that really need to come together so that they can understand what it is that they want to share and in what way. And it doesn't have, and oftentimes they can't see, they're so narrow, they think, oh, it's just this. Like, no, it's not. And if you have to look up and have somebody else say like, wow, you're really thinking too small. Like when we look up and look around and the picture gets bigger and often simpler because we can see more. And it's a jigsaw puzzle. It all comes together nice and tight. I do. That's
amazing.
What I'm saying.
Amazing. Puzzle. It's like there's also the fun of it too. Like I put down game. It's like
so because it doesn't. It's not. There's no one right answer.
And that's also very Arcturian of you. The whole like big picture. Looking ahead. It's very Arcturian. Also, you've also chosen like a theme perhaps like that you want to work on as well, because you already have the Neutrality Master and Dream Master. I got in the records that you chose wisdom. You're seeking wisdom and seeking the mastery of wisdom.
And I say that a lot too, is that women don't share the passing down women's wisdom is often done orally, and then it's not captured. And we're doing ourselves and our future selves a service now because we owe it to ourselves and humanity to capture the wisdom that we have, that we've collected, no matter what age, and share it in a way that is encapsulated, which is the best way is to write a book. I mean, we're all still reading Shakespeare and Caesar, and you know, the Bible and
Yeah.
you know, everything. And so, but women often, they wait to get asked. They wait to, you know, until it's the right time, until no one needs them. And then they retire. And then a lot of my clients are over 70 and they're like, well, I know I need to put this into a book. Like, yeah, but dang,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and I'm glad you're doing it now. And they always get book deals, which is good. But still, like, they would have enjoyed the one-on-one teaching more.
Yeah.
So wisdom, and women's wisdom, it really needs to be passed on, and it doesn't help people to wait because the people need what you're sharing today. You know, and also, like, how selfish. Like, oh, I'm shy, or oh, I just can't find time. Like, really? Trying to help people?
Yeah.
No, we're not gonna let ourselves do that.
And so also you there's the archetypes that you might choose for positive archetypes and learning archetypes. So I'm sure you know you know these are universal archetypes, but there's 1 to 3. Like some people might choose 1, 2, or 3. You've chose 3 of each, which they're like, yes, let's do it. So for the positive archetype, you've chosen lover, detective, and companion. And then for learning archetypes, you've chosen hermit, dilettante, and servant. So
Dilettante.
You learning as in you know, it could be you don't want to be a dilettante, you want to be the expert, or you might want to be more comfortable being a dilettante, trying different things. You know, it's kind of up to how you interpret what the lesson might be in these archetypes. But yeah, I just went in and read it. Go ahead.
So the what did you say? They're power ones are lover, detective, and companion.
Yes, positive. Yes, positive and learning. Yeah. Like, yes, maybe it's like a focus or I don't. Yeah.
Yes, I definitely would connect with, you know, with like lover and detective. And I do. I talk about detective work all the time. It's part of my brand.
It showed up in the reading. Right
it
there.
probably will show up in a Google search too, like Allison Lane says. And I really have like a problem with like hiding away. And
the opposite,
opposite of like concealing, hiding, shame, and I don't enjoy people who are when people feel like they have to like something's keeping them from being themselves. And hermit is just really not a positive.
That's the learning.
Enjoy solitude.
Maybe it's maybe that's how you relate to it. That's like the opposite, or you know, or maybe finding the value in it sometimes, but like, you know, maybe that's something you want to explore, or that's interesting for sure. And then I also, so back to your intention, the message, have not forgotten. So I wrote down, you know, what the guides had relayed to me about your intention from so these are your Akashic Record Guides. There's the gatekeeper who's always there. So all this information that I'm sharing, that I'm able to read, is only to your highest benefit. So they won't share with me anything that is not helpful to you at this time.
Well, that would be good. Thanks for that.
Yes, so we always think, keep being grateful to them. And then there's also, you have another guy that's a Sirian lion that is there for you. So they want to tell you that for your, intention, they suggest tapping into that puzzle-loving analytical side to see what brings you fulfillment, or maybe clarify what elements that you're looking for, but keep going with that puzzle-loving, problem-solving side, and the experimentation and viewing your current life as a laboratory to so you're tapping into your deepest joy. And the thing that they suggest, I don't know if you're already doing this, is group sessions, small groups, or perhaps it's like connecting to that divine unity will help bring out some of that, some of your goals. And then I wrote down 90% planning, 10% letting go and going with the flow. I don't know if the message makes any sense, or maybe we can ask them more.
I do last year I started a small group program for women called the Buzzworthy Lab, because the aim is to get women together for a short enough period where they can have a goal of either pitching their book or publishing and going through that process, or promoting their book on its launch day and creating the plan so that they can avoid the chaos and confusion and like the collapse, like the 3 C's of the apocalypse for their emotion, where they're just like seized up and stuck, and then this thing that should be celebrated and it should be fun becomes like their worst days, where they should be, they created something out of thin air, out of their minds. And it's a book now, and it's living, and you can touch it. And then it sort of collapses for them. It's no fun for them, because they always feel like they should know how to do something that they've never done before. So how is that possible? Why do women feel like that? I don't know. And it really it really helps them feel so much more confident. And also I do everything for them. Like, what do you need? I have a template for that, is my middle name. Because I want to make things easy.
The structure.
Right. It's not like I don't feel like I am structured so much as I have promoted and marketed everything. And so there's nothing you could possibly need in terms of like anything that I haven't done 100 times. So, and the rule is in marketing, if you have to do something twice, you make a template. Like, boom, you have a template. So if you need something, I have a template for that. And and that is, it's really powerful to see how far people can come like that.
That's what brings you the deepest joy, is bringing
I do really like it. I sometimes just feel like I should be able to touch more people, because a small group program is only like 5 or 8 people at a time. And if each of those programs is 3 months, that's right. I mean, 8 times 4 is not that many, and that's in a year. That's how many I can touch. Like, it's not enough. It's not enough improvement for enough people. So
Gotcha.
I've been, and since I do so many free webinars or workshops, lives and stuff, I just feel like I have this hump of, I know I should start a podcast because I'm so verbal and I have so many solutions to offer people. but I haven't done it because I get sort of sidetracked with
It's a lot of work, yeah.
well, I don't know if it's a lot of work. I just get sidetracked with like the minutia of like running a business, which is not my strong suit. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you thought about like on putting, instead of a podcast, like that's also one resource, but like a online class of
I
sorts?
do those. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I do.
Like it's something, yeah, like a perennial thing that anyone can sign up at any time. But and then maybe instead, like, because you were talking about reach, right? But then like maybe twice a month you can have a in-person check-in with the students who are part of the course, because they're working at it at their own pace. And so you could have like a, like that would maybe allow you to support more people, to have like a twice a month check-in, like a live, Q&A check-in type of thing, that, and then they can also benefit from the group, and then that could, they could support each other too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. I only just have packaged my program for developing your book pitch into something that's available year round for a lot less, but I feel like that people need that, like there for more, you can attend that same, you can get that same information, but in a 4-week workshop where I am literally editing everything about pitch for a month, and at the end you're ready to pitch your book to agents or publishers. And so there's the balance of like, well, if that's like more than double the price of the evergreen thing, like to get access to me, like, do they get some, like, I don't know, the finances of, you pay more than you get personalized one-on-one time. But if you don't want that, then that's fine, but then you get to pay less,
Yeah, I can have the option, or perhaps like, in addition to, the Q&A, they can have an add-on towards the end, like after the course is finished, then they can add time with you on the one-on-one type of thing to get more support, or a final, check to make sure everything is tip-top. Like, maybe that will allow you to reach more.
I'm gonna write that down. Because I have been doing Q&A, and I'm right in the middle of doing a masterclass series, like a free daily masterclass. So
cool.
Asking the same questions every day. Like, this should not be like a secret. It's not like someone's keeping it secret. It just doesn't benefit anyone to just put information out there. I don't know why. I mean, you can find everything on Google, except this.
or Chat GPT, I guess.
Right.
A little scared in general, but but essentially, my husband, I don't know, he's like half joking but mostly serious, like, if you want to ask me a question and I'm busy, go to Chat GPT and they'll answer. I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want to use Chat GPT. But he's like, maybe they'll answer it better than you. I'm like, no, I don't think so. No, it's okay, I'll hold off.
I'll wait until you're out of the bathroom for sure.
Or done with work, we'll find time, it's fine. I want his opinion. I don't want, Chat GPT, right? No. So do you have any, other follow-up questions that, while they're here for you?
Can they tell me anything about, I mean, I get the like the like using my current life as a laboratory.
Mm-hmm.
And you said looking at small group sessions, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it means to tap into my analytical side, because I
Mm.
seem to be more of an intuitive, like, let's go with my gut kind of person. Um,
I think you have an analytical side because of what you're talking about, the problem solving and like the puzzle. That is, in a way, analytic, even though for you it comes out intuitively because you're so naturally good at it. But I feel like, when I ask them, I think they want to, um, I think what they're trying to say is to, like use your analytical side to see what brings out the maximum joy for you, because the question that you had was how to be more fulfilled in this. So like I think they're asking you, how you can focus on your deepest joy and to kind of recalibrate your resources to maximize this. I feel like that's what they were trying to say, and I'm hoping I did a okay
yeah,
job.
recalibrate my resources, maximize my joy. And here I
Yes.
thought that my question was more specific, like, what should I be focusing on? I don't want them
Mm,
to give me an assignment. I want them to tell me what to
mm,
freaking do. Because if I have to sit and like try and figure it out myself, I feel like it's like a focus group of one and I'm the only one and I'm already doing
mm,
it. So
mm, mm, mm.
I, as much as I would love to sit and think about it,
Yes.
I have two kids and two dogs that are not well trained, and a husband who travels a lot, and my workday is like super compressed. So if they could just spill it, that would be great.
It's I always describe, my experience there. It's almost like the Socratic method. You ask them a question, they ask you a question back,
That's
and you're
not
trying.
nice. Give them some feedback.
um
I'm going to answer
well,
their question with a
what
question.
so I guess, based on, my claircognizance, because I'm claircognizant, I feel like I feel like they're suggesting you to look into the group, the online class option, because after they heard your response, they feel like that is one avenue that could help you maximize. Sorry, so what you're saying is you want to, okay, just to rephrase that, you want to reach more people as a goal, right?
I do.
In your business.
I want to reach more
Help more
people,
people.
help more people, and I want a sustainable business that is where I have clarity of what that I'm spending, that I'm invested in the right things. And last year at this time, I knew that I needed to pivot. So I spent months doing that. And then I think I pivoted the wrong way. Like it was like a tiny group,
Mhm.
super high end. And I felt really isolated because I was only working with 4 women, and I was like, it's not enough. It's not enough of a ripple effect. And so I want to be more accessible, not to where I have to go and hunt for people who need me. It's much more, um, much easier to offer my, like speaking or
With yeah,
whatever at
yeah.
like toward other groups, but you it's hard to get paid that way. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm talking about, like
Yes,
the exchange of energy and
yes,
monetary energy and
yes.
the knowledge that I have that can truly help people. I I don't have the bandwidth to do
All of it.
more I
Yeah.
need to be really focused on just the three things.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes. I guess what I'm sensing is relating to, when you think of the three things, which ones will bring you the most fulfillment, like the deepest joy? So like if you can envision, so maybe it's a visualization thing to see yourself doing these three things and getting the maximum result. So whether it's the podcast, so right now you have one-on-ones, right? And you have small
very
groups.
few. I pulled back from
Oh,
those, but very,
okay.
very few.
Okay.
If any at all. So yeah, I have a small group program, the Buzzworthy Lab, and
Mm-hmm.
then for free, I have the Facebook community, but I've done dozens and dozens and dozens of free workshops. The
Mm,
community is only 2,000 people,
mm, mm,
and
mm.
this should be like, I should be advising for the publishers. It could only help them. And speaking at major conferences, but being paid to do so, because it's really easy to give away your wisdom for free.
Right.
Uh, but and then I do like working with people who are, they understand that they have momentum and they're like, let's get it done. I enjoy that. Is the thing that zaps my energy is the people who are like, can you do this for free? Read my manuscript and tell me if you think I should hire you. Like, wait, you want me to read your whole manuscript and then
Boundary.
yeah, like no,
Boundary.
we don't
Yeah.
return those emails anymore, because even that takes time.
Yes, absolutely. So major conference speaking, like speaking engagements or consulting with publishers, right? Is that what I hear as
Yeah,
because then they can reach out to more people that way kind of thing, or help more
I feel like
people?
the publishers, when they are signing their authors, and their authors are going in blind, they have no idea what they're doing, and the publishers don't even give them here's what the next year is going to look like. Here's what we are going to be expecting from you. Here's a toolkit of running your own marketing, and here's what it looks like. And so they don't even answer any questions. It doesn't come with like an ebook or anything. And they should really be offering that. It could only help the publishing houses. And
Yes.
it seems really odd that, a major publisher would be publishing 1,500 books every year, or sometimes 15,000, and not be giving even a rudimentary, this is what your next 12 months will entail. Like, here's a press release example and a template. Here's what your website should include and what it should. Please don't pay anyone for these other things, because
Right. Has to be specific.
yeah.
Have you thought about offering like templates, some of your like templates or rubrics for sale, like a not low cost, a correct priced cost for people to access as a option?
I have thought about, well, right now I have a book proposal 4-week course. And so I've bundled all of that. And that's the people who just took it, they did the summer cohort. The feedback I got was so positive, 10 out of 10s. And
Amazing.
and I know it's good, right? And they said,
Yeah.
it's like, you give so much, you're so available, you really made me see how this is possible. I'm like, good, because it is. Oh, hello. Tingles. And and it comes with like a bunch of elements that they would never know they needed. And so the next step of that is how to promote your book. Do you realize that your promotion, or like all of that, and it does come with templates, but it's also, it's not enough to just give someone like the manual of here's how your car works. You really have to walk them through it for them to be very successful. The thing is, some people just, they're like, I just can't afford that. Like, that's fine. You can take this, I can record a video and give you the one template. I certainly can, and that's easy to do.
And yes, you could, a video or voice of how to use that, and it could be like a smaller piece. This is what they really need right now, maybe consider, breaking it down, and then have like different templates for, because what I hear from, what you're saying is that the publishing side isn't giving them the templates that they need.
Zero.
And so either perhaps, I don't know if pitching to the publisher to purchase these from you, would they be interested?
I don't think that they're interested in purchasing. I think that because I used to run marketing for companies way bigger than the publishers.
A publisher.
And I know that they are tapped. They don't have room in their lives to teach authors how to be marketers. But no one's doing it. And then it equates to the book not being a success financially.
Can you still talk to, their tap, but here's my information. I have all these templates that can help your authors get ready for the tour, the press, the PR. I have these guides that they're available at this cost, but it's better than they not having it at all. Here's a resource. I'm a resource. Like, if you think your author, just put it that way, might benefit from it, like maybe they can link you to.
Well, that, and I was thinking of offering like a quarterly live masterclass for like just for HarperCollins, because a lot of my clients are with HarperCollins. Not all of them. They're HarperCollins. They're just, they're all the publishers.
Seasonal. That's a great idea too. I'm getting like, they're like, I know they're like just very loving, and they're like all of this else. That's just the nature of how it works.
Would they be like, not a good idea, thumbs down on that one, or would
no, they might ask like, is there a different way to approach the problem, but they will let you try it if it's, like, how can we, what can we learn from this? It's more of that Socratic method.
I feel like the other option too is just speaking. Like podcasts. It's really easy for me to get on podcasts, which is building awareness. And
and maybe some collaborators that you could be featured on other people's podcasts, like
that's what
I'm sure you've been to, even more, and then see, for outreach. And then about like, because you mentioned, of course, like, conferences, speaking engagements that are paid. I guess I would invite you to start like visualizing the one that you would like to be invited to and the number, like draw that, pull that number in, like, this is the number I want for this this speaking engagement, like start putting it out there. I guess you sometimes I have asked like for like the rates to charge. I'd ask them like, what should I charge? You know, is it this? What do you think? You know, so yeah, if you want to ask them, they can answer that, like what they think. But the other thing is, yeah, that's what they think it's worth. It doesn't always mean that's what the consumer would pay. So like there's like that's my opinion. That's Liz talking. Like
Yeah.
you know, that's, you know, so it's good reference, but it's just a reference. And it's not like they'll say, you know, has to be this, or, you know, it's never going to be like yes, no, never, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So conferences, think about what those are and the numbers.
Yes, it's important, like, to be specific too.
Yeah.
Like, this is the number I want.
Mhm. Got it.
Pull it.
Okay. And then, yeah, the collabs, and then essentially the digital products, the sort of
Yes,
our
yes. Like you can break it down, you know, and you could have supporting like blogs and podcasts next to it, where you're talking about it, you know, without, you know, giving the product away, of course, like just to introduce it and why you need this. And then, you know, once they listen to it, like, okay, I need this. It's a no brainer in buying this. It's like, I got this when you were talking over the pandemic. I purchased such a template from a lawyer for my contract, because my other job as hair makeup when I was in the US, I just needed some new language in my contract to cover us for the pandemic and rescheduling. So yeah, going on talks, and like I heard her talk about it, I'm like, okay, I'm buying this product.
yeah.
Here's my credit card.
Right. Yeah, like I really need
Yeah,
that.
here, I forgot. I think it was like I bought like 2 portions. I think it was like $270, something like that, for my contract. It was worth it for me. So, you know, like sometimes it's just pricing it right and having, you know, the options, because I don't want the whole thing. I don't need $1,000 like a fresh contract. I just need
Right.
the piece that I'm missing.
Ah. So just you just bought 2 portions of the total.
Yes,
Right? Huh.
because it only applies to my industry, because I don't need like other things that, you know, because she's a lawyer that, you know, supports like you know, small creative businesses. I don't need like wording about, you know, image rights and all that. I just need for the for the rescheduling and like, you know, disasters, what that looks like. So I just purchased the part, and then I, you know, edit it into my contract. So that worked for me as a consumer. That's coming from Liz. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Okay. I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, maybe I can, you know, like chop some of this stuff up.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what should I be asking the guides or you that I wouldn't think to, and then later I'm going to kick myself for not asking?
I and well, I guess you know, the information that we you know, covered today, it's like what they think is most helpful to you right now. So I'm not, you know, sure if there's like a general question that you would, you know, like if there's some curiosity, because that's individualized, that you know, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna give the mic to you to see if there's anything.
I don't, I guess my question now, hearing all of that, is how can I tap into them most simply? Like, what should what state should I be in? What should I be thinking?
Yes, that's great question. So I put a little star about your Sirian lifetime, the Sirian, you know, dog wolf like incarnation that is very present, right, you know, in your life right now. So I recommend, in general, it's meditation can be many things. So some people do walking meditation, some people sing, some people are while cooking, they can meditate, or I like to do it in the bath. So it's your most relaxed state. You can sit, you can lie down in your most comfortable state. I do recommend taking some deep breaths and that you're getting into your relaxed, state, and then just, ask them, because like they don't tell me like their name or anything, that's more for you to connect with them. So you can even ask them, hey, like I would like you to tell me. You can sometimes another suggestion I have is before you go to sleep, you can write down your questions, and sometimes it comes to you while you're sleeping.
Oh, okay.
That's one way. So yeah, you can readily connect with your Sirian and guide, as well as the spirit animal, which is a lion, a Sirian lion. Like your spirit animal, maybe they can support you and help you. Oh, and of course, free writing, journaling. That's also one way. If to download information, and also to pay attention to some of those sensations you get, as we discussed, the scrying, remote viewing, and second sight. Like maybe now that you are aware of it consciously, you can tap into it even more as you go around your daily life. Like you mentioned, there are no accidents. Like it just happens that way. It seems random, but it's not. That's also one way to connect with them. And as far as your Akashic Records guide, there's like I took a class to connect with them. There are like meditations that you can do that if you want to, how I do it, it's like there's like a, kind of like a prayer, like you're in a meditative state. You kind of enter it's like a library, or I like to see some people you can visualize it, and then you can request access to your Akashic record gatekeeper, who's your main guide, and ask information in the library. That's something, if that's something you're interested in, you can definitely look into that too.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I hope this was helpful and fun and interesting. And I'm glad, and definitely have your file, the correct file. And the last thing I want to mention, because it's not like crucial information, but it's an observation. The Arcturians, they are sometimes blue, like they're the color blue. They just like the color blue. And I notice you're wearing a beautiful
I
blue
only
shirt.
wear blue.
Oh my God.
I only wear blue and green. And I have one eye that's blue and one eye that's green.
Oh yeah, because maybe the lighting, it's not as noticeable, but I can,
if I change
but
that, right. So if I like this eye
oh
is green and this eye is blue.
yeah, I can see it now. Yeah, now that you mention it. Let me see if like Sirians have something with blue too. There are like because there's different beings, and there is like one being that is more blue, like the color, and they're like larger. So yeah, I don't know, I know I was called to share that. It's a tidbit, a confirmation as well. So yeah.
I know that's that's me. It's definitely blue. All the very specific shades of blue.
Yeah, it's pretty specific too. It's not random. Yeah.
My poor husband, he's like, let me guess what color couch we're gonna get. Like, yeah, blue. Why wouldn't they have a blue couch?
Amazing. Yeah. I thought it was just like, I was just mentioning, like, oh, you're wearing that perfect blue. Yeah.
I know. This is my color for sure.
Yeah.
I'm literally like, I'm just looking around like I'm surrounded by blue things. Just surrounded by blue things. Like this is just blue. And
totally. That's your color. That's your color. That's your
yeah. Well, thank you so much. I'm
Yeah,
so
thank
interested. I'm
you.
going to sit on all this and really
Yes, please.
absorb it. I will
Yes.
send you, well, first of all, thank you so much for everything.
Yes, no, thank you. Yeah.
I will, after this buffers, I will send you the
Yes.
recording and you can edit it. And I will also send you the Fathom because you might actually
Beautiful.
prefer that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
the
thank
screen
you. I'm gonna try
recording
it
is
out.
good because it gives you
Yeah.
a gallery view and that, but Fathom, you might like everything else about Fathom. So
Okay.
when you
Thank
look at it,
you.
you'll be like, this thing is
Okay. I'll spread the
top
word. Yeah,
notch.
thank you. I'm gonna check it out. I'm excited.
Okay. All right. Well, if
Okay,
I can
have a
do anything for you, you can
yeah,
just holler and let me know.
thank you. Yeah, much love and appreciation. And also we want to thank our guides, for being here for us. And we'll
Yep.
close the record. Like thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, we're complete.
Very good. All right. Thanks so much.
I hope you enjoyed this full dive into a soul origin reading with me, and that it was interesting to see how the session unfolded and how it might be helpful. If you may be interested in reading, well, you know where to find me. I want to mention that I only edited out the chat that was not part of our reading, and there was a short pause that I made when I was looking at my notes, but otherwise this is the entire reading, which is usually about an hour and 15 minutes. I did want to add one last thing about what I said regarding the Akashic Records Guides asking you clarifying questions like the Socratic Method. And it's not that your guides do not want to help you by telling you yes or no. They want to empower you to make your own decision. Because if they say yes or no to your question, they are possibly taking away your agency to choose your own adventure. They're more here to give you advice, guidance, or support, but ultimately you have to choose and take action. So with that, until my next video, thank you so much for watching and listening, and see you next time. Bye!